Your dog lets out a grumble after you tell it to get off the couch. You say something again, and your dog answers back. Not with barking, not with aggression, almost like it is arguing with you. Most owners laugh, call their dog stubborn, or assume it is being disrespectful. But what if that strange little conversation is not defiance at all? What if your dog is trying to communicate something far more important? Today, we are going to uncover what dogs are really saying when they seem to talk back, why this behavior evolved, and why understanding it could completely change the relationship you have with your dog. Because once you hear these sounds differently, you may never ignore them again. Most people hear a dog grumble, sigh, or mutter back, and immediately give it a human meaning. That dog is being rude. That dog knows better. That dog is testing boundaries. It feels personal because the sound arrives right after a command, almost like a reply. And when it happens in front of other people, it can feel even more embarrassing. You ask your dog to move. The dog makes a noise. Now it looks as if the dog is refusing you in public. That is why so many owners react with frustration. They are not just hearing a sound, they are hearing what sounds like attitude. But here is the problem. A sound that feels disrespectful to us may mean something completely different to a dog. So the real question is not, why is my dog being difficult? The real question is, what is my dog trying to say in the only way it knows how? Think about how people speak when they are uncomfortable. Friend may sigh when asked to leave a warm room. A child may groan when playtime ends. Partner may mutter when interrupted at the wrong moment. None of those sounds always mean rebellion. Sometimes they mean disappointment. Sometimes they mean surprise. Sometimes they mean, I understand, but I do not like this. Dogs live in that same emotional space far more often than people realize. When a dog responds to you with a grumble or a whine, it is not always trying to challenge your authority. It may simply be reacting to a change it does not enjoy. Animal behavior experts have long observed that dogs use vocal sounds to manage social situations. Not every sound is a warning. Not every sound is a demand. Sometimes it is a small social signal that says, I am not happy with this moment, but I am still engaged with you. That is a very different message. And once you see that difference, the behavior stops looking like defiance and starts looking like communication. Researchers who study canine communication have found that dogs do not use one single kind of voice. They use many. A short bark can mean excitement. Sharp bark can mean alertness. A whine can mean frustration, anticipation, or a request for attention. A low grumble can appear during play, during discomfort, or during a moment of mild protest. Even a sigh can carry emotional meaning. What matters is not only the sound itself, but the situation around it. Scientists who observe dogs carefully always look at the whole picture. They watch the ears, they watch the tail, they watch the eyes, they watch whether the body is loose or stiff. Because the same sound can mean two very different things, depending on the body that makes it. A playful growl during a game of tug is not the same as a growl from a dog that is tense and frozen. A soft complaint while being moved off a bed is not the same as a sound made by a frightened dog guarding space. Sound alone never tells the full story. That is why so many owners misunderstand their dogs. They hear the noise. The dog is speaking with its whole body. Dogs do not live in a world of words. They live in a world of tone, timing, and emotional patterns. Your dog may not understand every word you say, but it understands far more than many people think. It knows when your voice is calm. It knows when your voice is sharp. It knows when something is about to change. It knows when a routine is ending. It knows when your attention is leaving the room. So when your dog answers back, it is often reacting to the feeling of the moment, not the sentence itself. Imagine asking your dog to move from your lap when it has finally settled into comfort. The dog may let out a long sigh, may grumble softly. It may even make a sound that feels almost like a complaint. Many owners hear that and think, my dog is saying no. But emotionally, the message is often much simpler. I was comfortable. I do not want this moment to end. I understand what you want, but I am disappointed. That is not rebellion, that is emotional honesty, and dogs are often far more honest than people give them credit for. They do not hide their feelings very well. They show them in real time. To understand why dogs talk back at all, you have to go back to the beginning of the relationship. Dogs did not become human. Companions by accident. The dogs that stayed near. People were the ones that could survive around people. That meant reading human behavior. That meant avoiding unnecessary conflict. That meant finding ways to communicate needs without creating danger. Over time, the dogs that could make themselves understood had an advantage. They were fed. They were kept close. They were trusted. And humans, without even realizing it, helped shape the dogs that were best at living beside us. That is why modern dogs are so sensitive to human voices and expressions. They are not just pets. They are social experts in a human world. Researchers have shown that dogs pay close attention to our tone, our posture, and even small changes in our mood. They are constantly gathering information. So when a dog makes a sound back at you, it is not acting strangely. It is using a tool that has helped dogs survive for thousands of years. A vocal response can keep a social bond intact. It can reduce tension. It can ask for patience. It can say, "I am still with you, but I need something from this moment." That is not disobedience. That is adaptation. This is where many owners make a mistake. They hear one grumble and assume they know the meaning. But dogs use these sounds for very different reasons. A dog may grumble because it wants more petting. It may whine because it is excited to go outside. It may huff because it is annoyed that play stopped too soon. It may make a low sound because it is unsure about what comes next. It may even vocalize simply because it has learned that sounds get a response from humans. The same dog can use the same sound in different situations with different meanings. That is why context matters so much. What happened right before the sound? What is the dog doing with its body? Is the body loose or tight? Are the eyes soft or hard? Is the tail moving freely or held still? These details tell the real story. A dog that talks back while relaxed is not sending the same message as a dog that talks back while tense. One is expressing emotion. The other may be expressing discomfort. That difference matters because when you understand the difference, you stop punishing communication and start reading it correctly. There is something deeply moving about the sounds dogs make when they are comfortable enough to complain. A dramatic sigh when you stand up, a soft groan when you stop, scratching behind the ears, a little grumble when you ask them to move from the warm spot they claimed 5 minutes ago. These sounds can be funny, but they are also revealing. They show that your dog is not just existing near you, it is emotionally invested in the moment. It cares when the moment changes. That is why these sounds often happen in the safest relationships. A dog that feels threatened may go silent. A dog that feels secure may speak up. That is an important truth many owners miss. A dog that talks back is often not being difficult. It is being honest in a relationship where it feels safe enough to be honest. That small complaint may actually be a sign of trust. Your dog is saying in its own way, "I can tell you how I feel and I believe you will still be there." That is not disrespect. That is connection. The biggest misunderstanding is not that dogs talk back. It is that humans keep translating those sounds through a human lens. We hear a sigh and imagine sarcasm. We hear a grumble and imagine attitude. We hear a complaint and imagine a challenge. But dogs are not trying to sound like people. They are not being dramatic in the human sense. They are expressing emotion in the canine sense. And once you stop forcing human meaning onto the sound, the behavior becomes much clearer. A dog is not saying, "I am the boss." It is more likely saying, "I do not like this change." A dog is not saying, "I refuse to listen." It may be saying, "I am confused." A dog is not saying, "I am mocking you." It may be saying, "I want more of what we were doing." That shift in interpretation changes everything, because the moment you stop hearing disrespect, you begin hearing need, and need is something you can respond to. The next time your dog talks back, do not rush to correct the sound. Pause. Watch the body. Listen to the tone. Look at what happened before the sound appeared. Then ask a better question. What is my dog feeling right now? That one question can transform the entire interaction. If the dog is relaxed, the sound may simply be a social complaint. If the dog is tense, the sound may be a sign that it needs space. If the dog is excited, the sound may be part of play. If the dog is uncertain, the sound may be asking for reassurance. When you respond to the feeling instead of the noise, your dog learns something powerful. It learns that communication works. It learns that you are paying attention. It learns that it does not need to escalate to be understood. That is how trust grows. Not through silence, through being heard correctly. For years, many people have looked at these little vocal moments and seen stubbornness. Now you know there is something much deeper happening. Most of the time, your dog is not trying to win an argument. It is trying to stay connected to you. Every sigh is a small emotional truth. Every grumble is a tiny piece of social language. Every complaint is a reminder that your dog is not just reacting to the world, it is reacting to you. And that is what makes the relationship so powerful. A dog that talks back is not necessarily a dog that is challenging you. It may be a dog that trusts you enough to be honest. That is a beautiful thing, because the strongest bond is not built when one side stays silent. It is built when both sides learn how to listen. So the next time your dog answers you with a grumble, a sigh, or a soft complaint, do not hear disrespect first. Hear emotion, hear connection, hear a dog saying, in the only language it has, I am here with you, and I have something to tell you. And once you understand that, your dog will never sound the same again. If this video changed the way you think about your dog, let us know in the comments. Has your dog ever talked back to you in a way that made you stop and wonder what it meant? We would love to hear your story. And if you enjoy learning the hidden psychology behind everyday dog behavior, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next journey into the mind of your best friend.